I swear, adulthood is the biggest group project where nobody knows the assignment. Like, we all got handed this idea of what life was supposed to look like, and then everyone just started confidently pretending that they had the answers. And I think something that's kind of funny is that when we're younger, we look at adults and it's like they have everything figured out. We're a kid and we're thinking, wow, my parents know everything. And then you become an adult and you're just like, oh, wow. Okay, wait a minute. I thought at some point maybe there was going to be this magical moment where I woke up and suddenly I understood taxes, relationships, finances, careers, and what I'm supposed to be doing with my life. And I'm realizing that I don't think that moment ever comes. I think we get better at pretending. We learn along the way, we grow along the way, we figure out how to handle certain situations, even though they may be different situations. Maybe they have similar aspects, so then we can take what we've learned and applied it. But now, I think social media has kind of made this worse because now we're constantly seeing people who look like they have everything figured out from this routine to that routine to this routine to that routine and do it this way, no, do it this way. And everyone is talking as if they know, like, this is the way that you're supposed to do it. But in reality, who actually knows? Just a friendly reminder, I'm not a therapist, psychologist, or expert in human behavior. This is a judgment-free, assumption-checking zone. Take what resonates and leave the rest. I mean, we've had this conversation in previous episodes. For example, talking about training in the gym, maybe sometimes it's good to seek a professional in that aspect. When it comes to ballroom dancing, maybe you don't want to copy a video off of YouTube, and maybe you actually want to go into a studio with a professional and learn it from scratch with someone who knows how to teach someone how to do it. But social media just shows that almost everyone knows exactly what they're doing at all points in time. I think that that's an aspect of social media where social media does fail us. It makes us think that in order to have our life together, we have to have a perfect morning routine. In order for us to have a good day, it has to start off on the right foot. Or in order for us to sleep well, we have to have a perfect nighttime routine. And I don't think there's anything such as perfect when it comes to anything like that. It needs to work for you. It needs to work for your life. Maybe I'll take bits and pieces of some inspiration that I get from videos, but very rarely will you ever find me copying something 100%. I mean, this podcast is a perfect example. Conversations weave in different directions depending on answers and responses because I don't know what guests are going to say when we're filming. So you're getting genuine responses. Yes, maybe they have an idea of where the episode's going, but they don't know everything that I'm going to ask them. And I think that that's something that I love about podcasts is that they have the ability to be a bit more spontaneous rather than planned, like a social media grid. We see in social media people have perfect routines, the perfect apartments, the perfect relationships, the perfect career, the perfect body, and you're sitting there eating your third snack of the night thinking, okay, am I the only one who doesn't feel like they have their shit together? But it's tricky because yes, there are people who truly show their lives on social media, but it's still not everything. I don't understand how anyone could ever film everything in their life on social media. I would never have anywhere near enough storage for something like that. But we're comparing someone's little bits and moments to our lives. We're not seeing the final product. We're not seeing when they doubt themselves. We're not seeing all of their bad days. Maybe we're seeing some moments, but we're not seeing all of them. And I think it's normal when you're an adult to say, I don't know. And I think that it's normal to find someone who maybe has a better idea and ask them and ask questions and talk to people. My coach told me the other day, there's no such thing as a stupid question. And I was like, okay, bet. And I literally asked her a question that I was really nervous to ask for a very long time. And that has now led to an email that I am psyched about. And I don't know what's going to happen. We'll see. But again, I think it's just if you don't know, the worst someone can do is say no. And I have someone that I text whenever I'm really nervous to hit send on social media. And I go through this all the time where I'm like, okay, I need to do this. Like, I'm very ambitious. I'm very determined. I am very outspoken. And I will ask for what I want. But I get really nervous when it actually comes time to do the asking. And his response was basically like, shoot your shot. Like, the worst they can do is say no. So then it took me, I don't know, about 24 hours and then I hit send. But again, my coach started it with there's no such thing as a stupid question. And, one thing that I love about her is when I asked the question, she didn't know the answer, but she literally immediately put me in the right direction to find someone who could get me an answer. And that's kind of how this whole path has begun. Something that I always live by is to find people that are one, good people, two, I am so blessed to have her in my life. The person that I mentioned about texting, I'm like so grateful that he's there too. And I think that those are the people that I want in my life because because it's them, but then also just, she once said to me, if I am not part of the solution, then I'm part of the problem. And she immediately tries to help in any way, even if it doesn't give an immediate solution, it's just trying to move the needle in a little bit. And then having him who's someone where it's more of just like a fuck it personality, like, you got this, just do it, shoot your shot. Like, these are the people that I love having around me. And it's also probably why I feel so enabled all the time to ask all of my crazy questions. They're not crazy to me, but other people think that they're crazy. But they have gotten me to some cool places. So, again, in adulthood, when you're around people who don't really seem to know what's going on, I think it's really cool to ask and to find people and just see what they say. And maybe sometimes you won't get a response, and that's okay. So, it's okay to say, I don't know. And I think that there's a lot of power in admitting that you don't know. And people are so afraid of looking like they don't have it together. And sometimes we forget that other people are just figuring it out as they go along, especially on social media. You probably couldn't pay me enough to sit there and figure out an algorithm. Like, I'm just at the point, I don't care. I'm going to post what I want to post. Whatever's going to happen is going to happen. End of story. But there are some people who are going to try to figure it out, and they're going to spend a lot of their energy and a lot of their time trying to figure it out. And maybe it'll work for them, maybe it won't. But I don't think that there's any shame in asking people for help if you are trying to figure something out. If you have someone who's like a mentor in your life, yes, they're at a level where they're helping you, but maybe they're also figuring stuff out. Maybe they have questions and they have people that they go to. So maybe the person you admire, the person you compare yourself to, the person that you think is ahead of you, everyone is still learning. And some of the most confident people I know aren't the people who have every answer. My coach is proof of that. She pointed me in a direction to someone who might have it because she didn't have it. And when I tell you she is a badass, she is a badass. So there are people who are comfortable saying, like, I don't know, but I'll figure it out. Those are the people that I want to surround myself with. And it's a completely different kind of confidence to admit that you don't know, but that you're willing to try, or that you're willing to put some effort into figuring out the next steps. Because confidence is not always knowing exactly what's going to happen. It's trusting yourself to handle whatever is going to happen. And I've been thinking about that because I feel like we put so much pressure on ourselves to always have a perfect plan. We're supposed to know what we want. We're supposed to chase it. We should have goals. And when those goals change, why do we feel like we failed? Why do we act like changing your mind means that you made the wrong choice? Maybe you just learned more about yourself. Maybe you grew. Maybe the person you are now wants something different than the person you were 5 years ago. And personally, I think that's a good thing. I think that's a beautiful thing to know that you changed and to know that maybe you're trying something new. Maybe you've had this thought in your mind that just won't go away. We chatted about this in a different episode where if you have this thought that's just not going away, it's there for a reason, and maybe it's time you figure out why that's there. You don't have to have everything figured out, but you have to figure out what matters to you. Not what you were told should matter, not what looks impressive, not what gets the most likes. It needs to actually matter to you. So, if you're watching this or listening to this and you feel like everyone else has it together except you, no freaking way. I am telling you. A lot of people are just better at looking confident while they're figuring it out, but you can get better at that too. And maybe we need to stop seeing uncertainty as a weakness. Maybe uncertainty is proof that you're still growing, and growing is a beautiful thing. At the end of the day, do any of us really know what we're doing? I feel like we're all just really trying our best and taking wins when we get them. And if you're someone where, the word no motivates you to, okay, well, I'm going to keep going till I get a yes. Or if you're someone where one step back ultimately is going to push you like 20 steps forward, that's amazing. And if you're not that person, that's okay. Because if you want to try to be, you can always decide at any day that maybe that's what you're going to try to do now. Thank you so much for tuning in to this episode of She's Probably Talking to Other Guys. Follow along on social media at SPTTOG Podcast. I will see you there.